Yo, welcome to another Speaker Kicker podcast. I'm your host, Steve. And once again, like always, I'm here with my player partners, Tommy T and G. What's going on, y'all?
So,
man, how y'all doing?
Chilling, dog.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Made it through another week, man. So that's always helpful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Another day above ground is always a good day.
Right.
At least it should be.
The Celtics won, so finally.
God, man. Because I thought y'all was going to be in trouble.
Boy,
I ain't even watched the game, but I went back and watched and saw that it's 2-1 now. And I was like, okay. They got something to stand on.
I'm sitting over there sweating bullets, man, because they blew another lead.
Oh, yeah. We're coming back. I was watching a UFC fight.
Were you?
And,
oh, boy. I did like the one where he was like, my ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog. I saw that. I was like, goodness, man. I don't know if he did it or the other guy hit him and did it, but jeez.
Yeah. I'm not totally clear. I hate that he had to lose to that one guy, but you know, that's how it goes in the fight game.
Yeah.
I rock with T Wood, man. Wish him well, man. Hope he get better.
Yeah.
What's up, man? What's up? But hey, it was a good fight card, man. It could have been a pay-per-view.
It wasn't on pay-per-view?
No.
I don't know why I thought that was pay-per-view.
ESPN? Well, ESPN Plus. You know, most of that stuff is on the Plus.
Oh, so you got ESPN Plus. That's what rich people do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Having Disney ain't rich. I got Disney, Hulu, and ESPN. It's a bundle, buddy. Bundle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they do come as a bundle like that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I got the bundle.
Man, I got it with my phone bill.
Oh, you got Verizon?
Nah, Hulu. That's the only one I got. It's just Hulu, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had that and then, we switched it over. But
that's too funny.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. But it was a good weekend of sports, man.
Yeah,
good weekend of sports.
Yesterday was great.
Yeah, man, because first of all, the whack-ass Cowboys won. But,
bruh, let's not even talk about the Falcons, bruh. Like,
we ain't going to talk about the Falcons, bro. We're going to leave it
that comeback was true.
Oh, man.
I ain't see the game because I ain't watching none of the games. I ain't see shit this weekend.
Oh, but, man.
I did check the scores afterwards, and I saw that my Colts won. I was very surprised by that because I just think we're going to lose every game because Phillip Rivers our quarterback now.
Yeah. What happened to the black quarterback?
He's still there, but he's a backup now. Yeah.
Oh, he good enough to start consistently.
He did last year, but shoot, they said Phillip Rivers is our guy. So that's what they're going to do. I guess because he experienced and he had like big play potential and shit like that. And he probably trying to chase a championship before he get up out the league.
I don't think he's going to get one.
He ain't going to get it. I ain't never liked that nigga like at all.
But especially going to the coast, man. He not getting one.
Man. No, it's not going to happen.
Because he came in with Big Ben, I believe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He came in with Big Ben, I believe.
Yeah. Well, somewhere around there.
Yeah, he's
been around for a minute.
Yeah. He had potential, but he just don't cut it.
Shit, Cam out there looking like a new man.
Hey, you know what? I hate the Patriots, but I'm pulling for Cam.
Bruh, all day, man. All day.
Other than that, I hate the Patriots.
Can't stand them. Can't stand them. But Cam Newton play for him.
Especially because we the real America's team.
Oh, God.
Just letting y'all know that.
Man.
Oh, God.
Coming back.
I can't stand no Patriots.
20 points.
I hope they lose every game. I don't give a damn who on their team. I don't care if my mama was on the Patriots. I still root against them folks. I can't stand them folks.
I hope Cam do well this year, man. I'm going to just say that.
Yeah, I hope he have a great season and they lose every game from here on out. I hope they might go for 5,000 yards, put up 70 touchdowns, but they don't go to the playoffs.
And they got him for a bargain too, bro.
Man.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What a great weekend for sports, man.
Absolutely.
I must say. Bro, it's two things that I got over here on my little list that I just wanted to see what y'all thoughts were on it. The first thing, and I know we talked about Kanye, Greg, a little earlier, but man, I think it might have been last week or this past week, but he had went on a little rant about record contracts, and he's wanting to get his masters back, man. I don't know where I saw that, but somebody, like, I saw an article or something. It was talking about Jay-Z had sold Kanye's masters to get his masters back or something like that, man. I don't know where I saw that at. But the fact that Kanye doesn't have his masters and now he's getting it, do you guys think that the way he's going about it is productive in getting his masters, or how can that situation be improved for Kanye and other artists that don't own their masters?
That's a
loaded one, right?
That's a hard one, because in a sense, like, I think some of that business should be kept behind closed doors and negotiated out. Because if I'm just thinking about someone who got their masters, Jay, the way Jay got his masters, he had to pay for it. Yo got it the same. He had to buy himself out of his contract. I think some of that should be left behind doors, but at the same time, I do see the strategy of making it public and kind of forcing the label's hands to do something about it. It's just, sometimes, it come and bite you in the behind because you signed a contract, unfortunately. And, we think about Meg. Meg was like, oh man, my contract was horrible, but you signed a contract. And I know it comes with education. So really it's about education. Like, I think it's a change. And we're probably going to get into something similar to it on today's episode. But I think, we, in this day and time, I think it's time to renegotiate ownership. You know what I'm saying? Also, I think we need to change the name of it. Masters I don't like it either. So I think we definitely need to change the name of that. But also, I think it's time to renegotiate ownership, because most of the time people are coming and they're like, in these days, there's no artist development is dead. There's no artist development. So most time an artist is coming to you, it's just for your distribution side, which is fine. But most of the time they're coming already with whatever they already have. They already have their hits on YouTube and you know what I'm saying? They're already seeing their numbers. So it's like, what is it that you really offer? So I think in this day and time, it is time to renegotiate. But as far as Kanye, he came in a time where it was different. So he's going to have to find a creative way to get his, his masters back. Unfortunately, man, from the deal that I know that he supposedly has, which is, that deal was like, they got like a lifetime of his like the lifetime deal that he supposedly has and all that. I think he's, unless he finds a loophole, I think he's pretty much stuck. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how he's gonna get out, but yeah, I feel bad for him just a little bit, but at the same time, man, what do you do?
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Greg.
I saw at least most of what he was saying on Twitter this weekend, with like the full rant and just having so many concerns about being able to own his masters, and then also having talked to certain people about what that looks like and how contracts are negotiated. And then he even put up a little segment where he was talking about what record contracts should look like in the future. I can't remember exactly what it said. He had like 5 different stipulations for like what he, I guess, felt like was an equitable relationship between an artist and a record company. It's a lot to unpack, and the medium through which I was digesting the information was not conducive for a decent understanding or a full understanding. Because like I said, it was on Twitter. So it's like a tweet here, a tweet here, a tweet here, a tweet here. And so I'm trying to piece together stuff and try to figure out, okay, what's going on with this stream of consciousness tweeting that you're doing right now? This would be probably better if you just went on live or something and just started talking. I understand why you wouldn't want to, because you want to try to type it out so it can be cohesive and concise and all of that kind of stuff. But it was a lot. It's a lot to digest. And then it's also speaking over my head a lot, because I don't have a fucking record contract with anybody. So I don't have to worry about negotiating to own the shit that I made. Like anything that I ever have created, don't nobody else got that shit but me. So like I don't have to worry about that. But like I think that's a function of what you were saying, Steve, is where nowadays you don't have artist development. And since I started recording music in 2010, when I was hearing people like Currency and them saying, you know, go independent, do it all on your own. I never had a real desire for that. So I didn't have to worry about going and seeking somebody to help me develop my craft. It was just like, no, just do it on your own and you'll get to the place where you feel comfortable, and then you can kind of put the shit out when you're ready. That's just been the story since then. And like you said, it was a different time for him. You know, Kanye was out way back when, like 20 years ago, basically. So things have changed significantly in that time period. And I just feel like you said, he kind of is in a raw deal. If it was like that lifetime thing, and he got to abide by that. Even though I feel like it's still a way out of it, because I mean, niggas find ways out of all kind of contracts. Normally, it just has to do with muscle. If you can put some pressure on the right niggas, you can change what that ink say.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Yeah, it's always a loophole somewhere. I still gotta find it.
I still think that just looking at it from my side of it, it's like I'm still looking at it from the Kanye that said slavery was voluntary. You know what I'm saying? The Kanye that's causing all this riffraff because of mental issues, and not looking at it from the Kanye an artist, because like you guys said, it's a way that he could do it, a better way, basically, if he actually talked to them. You know what I'm saying? But going on Twitter and ranting about it and you know, because that's basically what he did, was just, I'm frustrated and I'm gonna just put it out there for everybody to judge. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like that's really conducive to getting it done. Because I mean, like, if I was the record label and I owned your masters, what benefit do I have to give it back to you? Because we just talked about how many hits this man has, how good his songs is. What benefit do I have to give that back to you? You signed the contract. I hate to be a dick like that, but I mean, you should have read it. I think that's what I said about Meg Thee Stallion and that one when we talked about her. But I just feel like it from just a person that don't understand what masters and you not owning this and a contract for that, and you know, not from somebody that doesn't pay attention to that. It just sounds like a mental breakdown that he's continuing to have. You know, because like even from him running for president, we looked at that as a mental issue, you know. That didn't make sense at all. But you know, just you know, from hearing that, it's like a mental issue. So it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like pushed to the side. And you know, I appreciate y'all's opinion, because you guys have, especially you, Steve, have more experience with contracts and masters and understanding what that means. Me, on the other hand, I'm just a consumer who enjoys the music. I don't care who owns it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my little 2 cents about that.
And I'll be honest, I think these parts, like him wanting to run for president and also him wanting to own his, you know, ranting about his masses, I think that's the part that is actually not due to the mental issue.
Right.
I think this is where
really Kanye.
Yeah, this is like, and the thing is with those contracts, like how much money is he seeing?
Yeah.
There's a chance he might not be seeing much, but you know, if you're looking at the picture, like, all right, if they didn't own this much, then you would be getting this. Then of course, at some point, you're gonna be incredibly frustrated because you're like, I can't get out this deal for whatever reason.
Yeah,
and they're gonna continue to take. So yeah, I'm sure it's coming from a place of frustration, and not all of the mental part. And he's just doing whatever he can to get out. That's really what I think it is. I think they're taking a good portion, and like we were just saying, man, he got so much incredible classic music. It's just like, what does he do? Like,
right.
Yeah. I feel like go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say because they said that he made. You know what I'm saying? They're saying that he's a billionaire, but they're saying it came from Adidas and the shoes.
Right.
So that kind of alarms me. And I'm like, what is he getting from the music then? Like, how much are they taking? Mm-hmm. Because he has records everywhere.
Right.
And if I remember the contract, if I remember what they said about the contract, I think it's the copyright part that they're taking the most. So like, when you see these things broke down, when I used to work at BMI, you can kind of see these things broke down. There's so many people on the record. Mm-hmm. So you have the percentage, which is from the artist side, and then you had a percentage from the publishing company sides. So then it's like, how much is being took? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it is that's one of the things where percentage can really hurt you. So yeah, man.
It just something that you said, Steve, it made me think of something when you said he might be looking at like the profits and how it's being divided up from his music and saying like, dang, like if they wasn't taking this much, I would be entitled to so much more type of thing. It makes me think of my own like personal budget and how I think of my bills. And I'd be like, all right, I'm paying these niggas this much money every single month. And I kind of don't have a choice, like utility bills. Like you ain't got no choice on a utility bill. I feel like that's what the record company is to him. It's like a utility bill. Like I can never get away. Who are you to say I can never pay you off? like I can never pay you off. I'll just always owe you for the rest of my life. Because with other things, you can like cut that. You can cut like your AT&T and say, I don't want to fuck with y'all niggas no more. Or you can say like, or when you buy a car, eventually you pay that car off, you don't owe them niggas shit. Same thing with a lot of bills, but like rents and utilities, like nigga, you got to keep paying this shit and keep paying this shit, keep paying this shit. And then it may even go up. Like you don't have no control over that. And I think that's his frustration. It's just like, bro, why I don't get no say at all? Like y'all just get to come in and just be like, you owe us this because we said so. And
could you
there's nothing that I can do about that.
Hey, could you picture signing a contract for a car and not reading it, and it says that you got to pay this payment for life?
Bro, I'd be stabbing a nigga, bro.
And you just can't get out of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think what we seeing from Kanye is honestly from the record company's perspective, it may be a good thing that it is like Kanye and not some other artists who may have more violent tendencies. Because in his situation, I don't think Kanye gonna go shoot up the office. But I think if the right people was in that position, they might go shoot up your office.
It was like,
and then it'll be then at that point, you know what I'm saying? Like at that point, the people who own this contract no longer exist. So I don't have to worry about that contract no more. Because who gonna inherit it? You want this bullet too? Like that's how that looks. And I feel like they really are in a good position by having done that deal with him specifically. Because I don't even think they could have done a deal like that with Jay. Like I feel like Jay would have shot the office up or had somebody shoot it up because I wouldn't be going for that. And I ain't even no gangsta ass nigga, but I am from Memphis and I know how to do shit. So it's like, you ain't gonna lock me in shit, nigga. Like it ain't gonna go down like that forever. Like now I'm gonna talk to some people and we gonna figure this out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like him going to Twitter or social media and stuff is like his way of shooting up the office. Like he just trying to put as much pressure on them socially as he can to try to get them to fold under pressure. I think he's fighting a losing battle because I don't think they give a shit about social pressure. Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, no, you got to be like in these people's face. They got to see you. Like, it's got to be that kind of pressure. It's got to be, I physically am in your presence and you feel like it's in your best interest to change the terms of this contract.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like what Tommy said, if it don't benefit them, why would they ever change? Like, why would I give you Pack Your Masters when we got a Kanye bracket with 32 songs that is just like timeless?
Right.
Like, I don't need but 2 of them hoes, honestly. And I'm good for the rest of my life, but I got 32.
I got 32. Come on, man.
I'm never giving you these. You ain't gonna never
what
get
for? What I'm gonna get in return?
Hey, I'm gonna set the price so high
Man.
that you can't pay for them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Or if you do pay for it, it ain't gonna be beneficial to you.
Yeah,
you're gonna never reap that money the way that you would.
You'll just be doing it just to say I own my master, just to say that you do.
Hey, you'll be free though.
Yeah, you will be.
You'll be free, but you ain't gonna never really get back what you paid for. It's like buying a car that's way underwater.
Yeah,
like bro, you ain't gonna never get the value of this car.
Right.
No, not at all. So, yeah.
The other thing I want to bring up, and I hate that I'm bringing this up, but I have to. I feel like because it's getting weird to me at this point. But Dr. Dre and he's getting sued by his. I don't know. I guess they're working on their divorce, but he's getting sued by his
ex-wife.
Yeah, soon to be ex-wife. For basically, what did they say? What did he do? God, I just had it up here. Nah, that wasn't it. Basically, she's suing him because she's saying that he took all the money, took everything from her, something like that, like fired her from Aftermath or something like that. And she's suing to contest the prenup that they had set up. And I'm just like, I already thought it was kind of like outrageous for like what she was asking for. Mm-hmm. And at this point, it's like, I hate to hear about people getting divorced. And then to hear like, every time you hear about somebody getting divorced, you hear that, oh, it's messy and blowing this and blowing that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, man, just like, if y'all don't want to be together, it's already hard enough that y'all breaking up. Like, the thought of a breakup is definitely hard. Now you got to sit here and legally say, well, you can have this and you can have that. This woman asked for $2 million a month. I'm like, goodness, man. Even though, I mean, he got it, I assume, because I don't assume like a wife of 20-something years wouldn't ask for it if she didn't know he had it. So, but I just kind of wanted to bring that up just to say, I hope the best for both of them. I know, if they ever hear this, I'm hoping the best for both of them, man, because that got to be hard. It got to be definitely tough. But
hey, man, they say them things get real ugly. Yeah, they can get real ugly. But
right.
Man, I don't know. You signed a prenup too, so
yeah, that's you signed a contract.
Yeah.
Oh God. I don't know, man. That's gonna have to somewhere in life change. Like, I understand. Yeah, you signed a contract, but those contracts need to have like terms or something, so you can renegotiate after a certain amount of years or something like that. Because, nigga, if I signed something when I'm 5 years old, you ain't finna have me 95 still abiding by what I thought when I was 5.
That's true.
That's not fair. That's not fair at all. You wouldn't want me to subject you to that. So why would you try to do that to me?
That's true. Man, them billionaire problems, man.
Yeah.
It is, man.
Yeah.
She asked that nigga for a retirement pension.
More than somebody, it's about four or five people retirement.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest, you give me that $2 million, I'm good for the rest of my life.
Bruh? A month?
You talking about a month? You know how much that is? That's 2 times 12.
24?
Gracious.
$24 million a year.
A year.
Nigga, that's a
nigga, 4 years,
contract.
you at 100.
Yeah. That's like a superstar contract,
bruh.
You make $24 million a year.
That's it's rough on both sides. So
right,
yeah, I'm with you. Right. Yeah.
I just wish them the best, man. I kind of been looking at it and been like, damn, man, they really going through it. And I just can't imagine, being with somebody for that long. I think it's like 24, 25 years that they actually been married and they actually going through a breakup. Like, I don't know the ins and outs, but just from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
She trying to get $1 million for every year they was married then.
Bruh.
Trying to get $1 million for every year they was married, every year.
That's crazy.
My goodness, man.
What did you do, Dre?
Right. Let's just stick together, man, and shit. Here, you can have this half and I'll take this half and let's call it a day.
You better go sleep in that room over there.
Right.
Hey, we gonna get this together. Shoot. I already told my wife.
Like, you got a boyfriend or anything, my shit? Get your boyfriend, man.
Yeah, that's rough.
Shit. But so that's what I got. Contracts, man. Damn.
Yeah.
Y'all heard anything else this week before we get started with the big topic? Or we can jump right on into it.
I don't think I have anything like really worth mentioning.
Okay.
Unless I mention it at the end of the store.
What, Cardi B and Offset filing for divorce.
Oh yeah, talking about that. I forgot about them.
That's a part of that too.
Yeah. I wish.
I want to know. What I don't know is why, but
I hear so much stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
I know they've been through it anyway, like the cheating and all that, but they look like they was really happy. But hey, that stuff be deceiving, man.
Right,
you only get a blip of what's going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They could have been. What you say?
I put an expiration date on that from day one. Like that was already doomed to fail. Like that wasn't gonna never happen.
Yeah,
never. That wasn't gonna work.
I just, it's me, the hopeless romantic over here, man. I just wish everybody that get married, can work it out, stay married, and be happily ever after and stuff like that. But it's weird with them because it's like, bruh, like literally, I believe that she would do anything that you asked her to do. Like, what is it that you're looking for? If he did cheat on her,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
Do sexually or do period?
Like, period. Especially sexually.
I think Carter would cuss you out in a minute.
Okay.
I'm being honest. Like, I think, like on that song WAP, she talking about she don't cook, she don't clean. Like, okay. I don't think she'll do anything. I think it's some stuff Carter be like, Carter will cuss you out and walk off.
I think she'll, like, bro, because she, how can I say this, bro? I think she'll do anything if she's in love with you. You know what I'm saying? And with the case between them, from us, it looks like they were in love, or they got married. So her cooking and cleaning, what that meant to me was she paid somebody to do it. Like, once you get to a certain bracket, hell yeah. Here, I pay you to cook, I pay you to clean. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have time to do it or I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
I guess I heard that differently because she was like, I don't cook, I don't clean. But she was like, but she got a ring. I think that's how the verse actually goes, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
And so you kind of like, okay. Which, I'm not saying all women should be cooking and cleaning. Like, hey, I clean. Hey, I cook sometimes. She cook, I clean. Whatever she clean, I cook. But I don't know. It's always fascinating. I really want to know because I know we already knew that he cheated before because they had that whole public fallout. And then,
that's what bothers me the most, man. It's like this dude cheated on his wife, man, and it's, bruh. Like, literally, bro. Like, we saw on Instagram, she was like, she asked that man, did he need anything before she went to bed? Like, sexually.
Yeah.
I was like, who does that?
I don't want to make excuse for anyone. But when you're a celebrity,
that's making an excuse, Steve.
Nah, I'm just being honest. Like celebrity life is a different life. Like it is people throwing it at you. You coming out the bathroom, they throwing it at you. You coming out eating the restaurant, you on the playground, they throwing it at you.
Man, I
don't know.
Why get married?
For some, I mean, you might want to be married. Like being married is a beautiful thing. Like I love it.
Oh, I adore it every day.
Yeah. But
but
think of a celeb when
y'all niggas knew y'all wanted to be married. Y'all probably had a better understanding of what that means.
That's the
other thing too.
That's why it had an expiration date, as I alluded to earlier. Because this nigga wasn't ready to get married. If he was ready to get married, we wouldn't have heard nothing about that cheating shit. If he was ready to get married, they wouldn't be about to get divorced. Like, it's as simple as that. That nigga wasn't ready for it. And it didn't work out because he tried to make a decision he wasn't ready to make. It's as simple as they gonna get a divorce because them niggas wasn't ready to get married. Like, if they was ready to get married, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah, I can't argue with you on that.
Yeah, it's all facts. That just is what it is, you know? Excuse me. Yeah. So, yeah, man. Yeah.
Before we go any further, man, RIP to Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah.
Supreme Court Justice of the Supreme Court. So that throws a wrench in our government, but
definitely because they trying to replace her before the election.
They trying to do some stuff. So RIP to her. And
I heard something interesting though on the news this morning. They said like the Supreme Court, the amount of Supreme Court justices there are is not a fixed thing. So even if they decided to like put in a replacement to her that was unfavorable for most people like us, the next person who comes in, if they win the election, could always come in and just add more justices of their own people. Like you can just do it that way. I didn't know that shit. I thought it had to be like 9 or 10 or some shit. But no, you can apparently have as many as you fucking want because there's no precedent for that.
But I don't know if y'all into like Greek gods and goddesses and stuff like that. I look at the Supreme Court as that. not literally, but their job for the United States is to be what's the word? Non-biased. Is that a word? Is that the word that I'm looking for? Like where they're not on either side. They just have to judge from this position, from like what it looks like.
Yes, we can have a whole conversation on how.
Because unfortunately, they're definitely not.
Normally, when you say non-biased, those people lean a certain way.
Right.
To not be biased means that you lean towards whatever is prevalent. It means that when you don't do anything to correct the already established bias, it means that the already established bias is what you lean towards.
Well, that's what I'm okay. Well, let me not use non-bias, but let's say they have to judge from a position and they have the final say on the actual judgment.
They do. Yeah.
So I was like, man, they're citizens, but they're like citizens that sit all the way on the top of the hill back in the back. That you read like they behind a big door. You rarely get to see them, and if you do get to see them, you better come with your A game because that's it. It's final after that, you know. But I think it's cool that she was up there for so long and she fought the good fight for women and minorities, and you know, she was determined, man, and stuff like that. So RIP to her. It was one more thing. You know
when she was appointed?
It was in 93. Bill Clinton appointed her. And she's been from 93 until 2020. And she was 87. So
yeah.
Hey, but at some point, you know, you gotta be ready for whatever could happen. So
yeah, I think most of the Supreme Court people are 70 plus. Not saying that they ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't saying anything about they finna die or anything, but they're older, you know.
Yeah, because you get that job for life.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. And I understand fighting for whoever gets the president nominates in there, like any president. I understand why. Hey, fight to make sure this person is the right person to be in here because they can't get fired. This is their job.
I'll be honest, man. That's some of those jobs that need to be an expiration date.
I think the Senate and like all that stuff, they don't have terms. All of it. Those don't have terms. I don't have a real issue with the Supreme Court.
I think it should.
The government, the actual three, what they call it? The three branches of government needs to have terms. I know the president has, 2 terms, but the rest of them, I don't think they have terms.
They do have, like the House of Representatives is 2 years, and then the Senate is 6 years. And you have to be reelected to stay in.
Yeah,
just the Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, that's
somebody else got terms. Like don't have, like they can continue to run though.
Yeah, I think you can keep running.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like they need to be like, nah, you're done. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking Steve Cohen from Tennessee, that nigga been in the House of Representatives for my whole life.
Right. and you see how the nation has changed from diversity, just the look of the country has changed tremendously. And I think the look of the country, the government needs to look like the country. Our government looks like 1930 or 1940, 1950 maybe. I may say 1960, but it's 2020.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Hey, what was that old saying? Hey, I think Lincoln said it that. Did Lincoln say it? Someone said it. It might not be Lincoln, but they said that the downfall, like being, having a president is fine, but, they don't need to have these separate parties. I wish I remember the exact thing, but
I'm gonna have to look exactly that what you're saying. Man.
Exactly what you're saying. It's horrible. Yeah, and I don't know if George Washington or President Lincoln who said it, but they said the downfall, would be to have the separate parties, and that's exactly what they got with all that crap. So,
but and there's one more thing too. Netflix got a documentary about the Challenger that I've been
space thing,
the one that blew up in 1986.
Yeah,
I think that was pretty cool because every time I think about it, I think about Ronald McNair. Being first black astronaut or something like that, and it blew up. And they're saying like they knew that it was gonna, like somebody was like, "Hey, this is gonna blow up. We shouldn't do this."
I believe it.
It was such a rush. I had started watching it and then I fell asleep with the baby. So,
what was their destination? Where were they trying to go?
Space. It was like they did
into space.
They did space shuttles into spaces. So I think the moon landing, it wasn't called a shuttle. Like the I don't know what they call the space things. Like was a different design, and it was made to basically what's the new one that's up there that Elon Musk been working on?
Oh, the rocket that he working on to take people, shuttle people back and forth.
That's what the beginning of it was, because they had a teacher on that mission, and she was going to teach 2 lessons. I think they said from space.
They were going to the space station.
Yeah,
that we talking about.
Yeah. And
gotcha.
It was supposed to shuttle like different stuff up there and stuff like that. So they did one previously, like in 1979, 1980. And then this one was supposed to have like those 7 people up there and stuff like that. But like I said, I fell asleep. So I got to go back and watch an episode or 2 to really find out what happened. But I think it's pretty cool. I think that's a story that, we need to hear about. And so I appreciate Netflix and some of their documentaries, bro.
Yeah, man, they be filling in them knowledge gaps.
Yeah,
man.
boy.
Hey, I was thinking about it this morning, man. I was like, bro, what the hell was black people doing from like 1865 to like 1920? Like, period, in life. What the hell was black people doing? It's like, that's when they supposedly freed the slaves. And then I know like it was hell. But what the hell was going on? Like, I want to know some shit. Like, tell me something.
Yeah.
And then I was Googling that earlier, and it was like, the only thing that came up was like Ida B. Wells. And I was like, let me go and read this damn book. Mm-hmm. I got the book on the shelf behind me and shit. Like, Ida B. Wells autobiography and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I know they had like yellow fever here and all kind of shit came up. But it's like, bro, it was some old shit going on. I need to know.
Yeah.
I got a fat ass space of I don't know what we was doing.
Right.
It was points in times where, you know what I'm saying, we're buying plenty of land, had communities and so on and so forth. Stuff was really building. It just depends on where you was at in the world. Like if you was in the South, they wasn't having it. Yeah. It was hell. But, you know, you go a little further up in the North, there was still that stuff was going on. But, you know, black folks were actually buying land, building communities, stuff like that. Hey, look up the history of Central Park in New York. It was something that I never knew, that actual park, Central Park in New York, you know, that's like the only green space. Mm-hmm. But before it was that, or prepped to be that park, that was a community.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was a black community.
I didn't know
and it
that.
was destroyed. Yeah, they pretty much ran the black folks out of it, and then they end up moving uptown and buying land up there.
Oh, okay.
I've heard similar stories about there's a place called Mud Island Park in Memphis. Like
I saw it for the first time.
The whole Mud Island, because that's where I used to live. But they said that was all black people at one point.
Really?
They said because the land down there used to be, like, it floods whenever the river floods. Mm-hmm. That land,
I can imagine that happen.
Will flood pretty much that entire island or peninsula. And they were saying that none of the white folks wanted to live there because it was just, you know, swampland, that kind of thing. And if you look at the surrounding areas around there, it's pretty much, it's bayous and shit over there.
Yeah.
So it's not really good land to do anything on. Mm-hmm. But they found a way to come in and kind of, you know, drain it out and make it pretty as fuck now. So it's a trip, man. They do that kind of shit. I believe it.
There's a lot of places. There's a beach in California, Manhattan Beach, I think. I think that's what it was.
I saw something about that recently.
Yeah. Used to be, that used to be black beach houses there. Used to be theirs. And they like always, found a way to take it. So but we'll get on that for a later day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Get your history lesson with Speaker Geekers.
Absolutely.
Man, we all over the place today, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna cover all the bases.
Man.
You're gonna learn something today.
Right. Yeah. Or at least give you something to look up.
Absolutely. So
well, let's get into it, man. I was going to say Joe Budden. Joe Budden.
Yeah, man.
That's what happens when you type his name on like a text message on a Google, on an Apple phone. It'll turn it into Biden. It ain't going to say Budden.
Right. It's going to say Biden. And I guess, you know what I'm saying, oddly enough, this all kind of fits into what I guess we're going to talk about today with Joe Budden and his wildly popular podcast about Joe Budden Show. If you haven't heard the Joe Budden Show, go take a listen. I know a lot of people have. And we all know Joe Budden, the people that do know of Joe Budden. I mean, extraordinary rapper, has been on Love and Hip Hop. Has his own show on Revolt, I believe, as well as, you know, doing a lot of hosting gigs. Used to do it at Complex with Nadeska and Academics. And also, I'm trying to think. He had a battle with he battle rapped at one point. Really? He lost. Yeah. But nevertheless, man, Joe has had his hands in a lot of things. Former member of Slaughterhouse, Yeah, he's done a lot in the music industry, and now he has this incredible podcast that we're going to kind of talk about today. And basically, what we're talking about is the fact that he is leaving Spotify tomorrow. Well, actually, yeah, it'll be tomorrow when y'all hear this, I believe, the 23rd. Yeah. So that will be the last time you hear of Joe Budden's show on Spotify.
Exclusively. It'll still be on there. It just won't be exclusively on.
Yeah, the old shows Spotify, will be on there, but not as much. So it's very interesting because what he brought up was, negotiations basically fell through. And the coolest thing about the podcast is that he built it by himself. Well, not by himself, but they own that together. Mm-hmm. And what basically his whole team. So what happened was Spotify wanted a piece and Joe was like, nope. I think also they were supposed to get a bonus at one point for bringing in all these ad revenues, and they didn't get it. And then they wanted, Spotify also wanted a piece of the pie. And then also Spotify wanted him to bring in more, I want to say more Black creators, podcast creators, but they was going to try to take like 50% of it. And Joe said no. So today, man, what we really want to get into is, and we're not getting into whether Joe was wrong or Joe was right, or if it was a bad decision or not. What we want to get into is, okay, how does this look? Should the creator, just like we was talking about in the news as far as contracts, is it time to renegotiate, how much of the pie you're taking from creators? Because Joe Budden's podcast actually has been, it's only been on 2 years, but it feels like it's been on forever. Yeah. And it's been
on Spotify for 2 years.
It's been on Spotify 2 years. Okay, so it's been longer, but even before that, Joe Budden's podcast was gaining a lot of steam and can pretty much live on his own. So the question is today is, should they be trying to take a piece of the pie? Or, hey, should he have taken the deal? Well, not just him, but creators. Should they take the deals, or should we be renegotiating a piece of the pie? Because most times stuff is created before a lot of these big companies get a hold of it. So, man.
That's for me. I'm gonna just throw it out there. With like 3M Media, essentially that's the idea. But the biggest thing with like Spotify is Spotify is one business, one brand, and for the smaller creator, they see, hey, I can get a contract with Spotify. It kind of puts us in the same realm as the record labels and stuff like that. Because as a small creator, you're not seeing as much revenue, as much participation. You're not seeing a lot. But if you look at some of the YouTube numbers, if you look at some of the like actual Spotify numbers, some creators are out here just making it happen by themselves. You look at the 85 South show, they're making it by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like DC Young Fly started with what's the Vine videos. Country, what's his name? Country Wayne started like with Facebook, just making videos by himself, getting millions of views. Now he's getting paid in other ways. So I think the pandemic has something to do with needing a change for creators, because now we have more time to create. You know what I'm saying? Where you're not spending hours commuting back and forth, or some people were laid off and stuff like that. So now what do? You still have to eat. So you have to figure out a way to be creative to eat. And you've seen the influx in it. So yeah, there needs to be, to answer your question, Steve, there needs to be something there to help some creators, because now the pool is larger. So now you do have those quote unquote people that can create like those quote unquote Spotify's, where we're a podcast conduit or we can do this, and this for you, but we want this much from you. But then on the other hand, like for us and the 3M family, we just honestly like, let's build what we got. Let's work on what we got, and then let's see where we can go with it. Like our goal is to eventually, be as big as the Joe Budden podcast. But we're not looking at needing to get a deal from here, needing to get a deal from there. What we're looking at is, okay, so what do we have here? Let's create here. Let's have fun here. Let's do this. Let's do that. And let's bring in our own stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, just like you, when you in your introduction of it, I don't believe like with the Joe Budden podcast, I appreciate him putting the info out there. Appreciate him because then now we have to pay attention to it, just like Kanye did with his masters. But we have to pay attention to what Joe Budden is talking about, just because it's going to affect the people that are creators. Because it's one thing for Joe Budden to come in and they want 50% of his creation. And what did they really do to help him grow his people? Because put him on Spotify, we're on Spotify. And I feel like if he was exclusively on Spotify, he took away. Like they took away from what he actually could earn. Because you get y'all listen to Apple Music, I listen to Tidal.
I actually hate Spotify, by the way.
Like I don't listen to any music on Spotify.
Like I rock with Spotify. I listen to podcasts on Spotify sometimes. I listen to music on Spotify sometimes. But you do have those other avenues. You got YouTube. YouTube is a whole nother thing. Only thing he has to do is record it and put it on YouTube. He can stop doing this, the actual podcast, just put it on YouTube.
That's a real good point that you brought up, because in like the most recent show clip, he was talking about how he went to academics like, hey, we don't need Complex. Let's just film it ourselves. And academics were like, nah, I'm cool on that. He also said that he went to his baby mama asked, hey, let's do Love and Hip Hop together. And he was like, we ain't got to use Love and Hip Hop. Let's just record it ourselves. And he said that she also said, nah, she didn't want to do that. So it's interesting because I view it as the independence as the record label. So you had the independent and then you had the majors. I think if people go back to the episode with us and Izzy, we talked about that and how she was able to get a distribution deal. Yeah. Which most people don't get straight out the gate. But because of what she was able to do, they was able to offer that to her. So I believe in some spaces, it is appropriate sometimes to have, okay, I look at it as the name. Like, just what I was saying, like, academics may not want to go on and record it by themselves because he felt like, hey, I need to name a Complex behind because it's a big name. Or, his baby mom was looking, Love and Hip Hop, it's a big name. It's like an independent artist who gets with, if Jay signs you to Rock Nation, then automatically you're like, oh, he gotta be dope. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that name, that force behind you. Yeah. But as far, that extra cosign. But in this day and age where, like we said before, A&R is just about dead. They're not really developing artists, as we can see with like Meg. And that's even for the independents, because you can see, man, you didn't have a clue what was in a contract, and not to bring her into it, but you didn't know how to read the contract. And also, all they, with major labels, that A&R section is pretty much gone. Yeah. They're pretty much there to find artists, not to develop them. So at that point, they're going out to get folks who already have the streams. And if we look at Izzy's situation, that's perfect, because she had the stream already. So like, okay, let's get them and piggyback off of what she's already doing. Yeah. So in that sense, it's like, okay, looking at what Joe is saying, is that fair for them to do? Like, not only is that, it's fine to do, but is it fair for them to ask for so much if I'm already doing it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And it's a two-part question because we were talking about this before. On one side is business. You're using our platform and thing. But on the other side is me being a creator.
Yeah.
Really, bro, I already have the steam. Like, so why you want to take 50, 60%?
Mm-hmm.
Like, here, I give you, you know, are they at the point where they're like just pretty much a manager of the situation and not, because a manager most time takes like between 5 to 15% of your, you know what I'm saying, your revenue. Mm-hmm. And they're just managing the situation, whereas you, the talent, are doing the work. So at this point, not regulators, but at this point, you know, shoot, is Spotify just kind of like the managing of the situation, if they're managing much at all?
I don't even think it's that. I don't know this situation, but I just look at it from what we do. Like, we do a lot of work to get this podcast together. Mm-hmm. And for Joe Budden to actually have a podcast before he got to Spotify, you have to know that a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money was put into it of his and the people that's on his team. You know, a lot of that, their stuff was put into it. What did Spotify bring to the table for Joe Budden? Because I think it was a dumb, I ain't gonna say it's dumb because I don't understand the business move behind it. But from the outside looking in, it does not look like Spotify gave Joe Budden anything. Now, I'm probably wrong about it, but I mean, because they did give him some money, you know, for it or whatnot. Yeah. But I just don't think it was necessary for him to do that, to earn. He probably would have not earned as much, but he probably would be as big as he is with the podcast without being exclusively on Spotify is basically what I'm saying. And as a creator, that's what you want. You don't need to be tied to anybody. I can understand if I had it and said, "Hey, G, I got this YouTube channel or this podcast that I'm working on, and I want you a part of it. Here's $50,000, you know, for you to do this podcast, get your team together and stuff like that. But the only thing about it is any revenue, I'm gonna split it with you." That's different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Then y'all coming to me saying, "Hey, we got this podcast, boom, boom, boom. We got this number, we've been doing this, and we're earning this much, and you know, we're growing. This is the growth that we had for this year." And then you come to me and I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you $50,000, but I want 50% of the revenue." That doesn't make sense.
Well, we gotta think in this case, it's renegotiation.
Right.
So, you know, at the beginning part is, you know, jump in there, it's a deal, let's work it. And then 2 years later, it's time to negotiate, but you're trying to offer us, you know, something on the past 2 years, not currently what we're worth. Kind of like a home. Like if I came to you and gave you, you know, what you bought for the home 2 years ago, but we all know that the home is worth more.
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, no. Like, why should I do that? Like, you cut me out like another, you know, 50,000 maybe, or depending on how the market is. But I'm gonna get G in this conversation. I'm gonna throw Wrinkle in because what ends up happening is after Joe announces that they're leaving due to the Spotify negotiations breaking down, Charlamagne, the guy from Breakfast Club, chimes in, and he has something very interesting to say. Which basically what he said was, he didn't think Joe was. He said Joe knows his worth, but he doesn't think that Joe know how to negotiate it. So with that being said, it's pretty interesting when someone says that, because should you be even negotiating your worth? Is your worth your worth? Or should you be like, okay, let's play this. If you give me this, say if he, instead of 50, he was like, all right, we'll give you 25. We take the other 75. Let's roll with it. Or should it be, hey, this is our number. That's it. We can leave. What you think, G?
This is hilarious. Because like I feel like when you know exactly how much your stuff is worth, like you've done your leg work to figure out, you've done your appraisal work basically to figure out what something is worth. You have a number in mind of like what you want for it. If somebody comes to you with some bullshit ass offer, you're not gonna be like, nah, you gotta come up from there. You're gonna be like, hell no. You're gonna be like, hell no. I ain't even finna, we not even gonna talk. Like if my car is worth 25 grand and you come to me talking about I give you 10, I'm be like, get the fuck out of my face, bro. Like, cause if that's all you got, and I know it's worth 25, like, and that's, you know, sentimental value be damned. That's not even me considering that kind of shit. Cause it's also the potential that I like this car so much that I don't even want to fucking sell it. Like, you got to convince me to fucking sell it on top of that. Because you do have that situation as well where people will have something where it may be worth this, but it's like, I don't want to sell it. You got to like, okay, so you in Nashville and you do real estate. So, what's the name of that area of Nashville? It's like West End or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so that area was like booming throughout the last 10 years. Like they kept building shit. And in my previous relationship, I dated somebody that was from there. And their church was like in an area where people were coming in and trying to buy like the church. They were trying to buy the houses. They were trying to buy all kind of shit over there. And some of the residents in the area was selling because I need the money. Fuck you mean? I'm getting out of here. And then other people, that house is my home. Bitch, I ain't selling. Like on some up, Disney's up shit. Like, I'm not going nowhere. This is my house. This is where I want to be. Y'all have to wait till I die, basically. Or you're going to have to make it worth my while to move. You're going to have to offer me so much above what it's worth that I'll actually consider moving. And I think that that's what happens in a situation like what you got with Joe. It's like, bro, I've been putting blood and sweat and tears. I've been building this audience, first of all, because that's where the money coming in. It's like, I've been building this fucking audience for this long. And then y'all got the nerve, the balls, to walk in this bitch and try to undervalue me.
Yeah.
No, fuck you, bro. Get out of my face. Come back to me when you serious.
Yeah.
Then we can negotiate from a place where we starting somewhere that's feasible. We're not finna start somewhere all the way down here and then I end up taking the fucking hit because I settled with you in the middle of bullshit and actual value. Yeah. Like, no. Like, we're not going to do that at all. We're going to negotiate on fair terms. We're not going to let you come in here and just, like, decide you're going to throw some change at me. Because I know he had brought up on the little clip that you sent to us in the Slack that they were trying to negotiate with them with like some watches and shit like that. And somebody was yelling out in the background. I think Rory was in the background. He was like, nah, Rory was like used watches. It wasn't even like brand new watches. They were trying to get us to they're trying to throw that into the deal. Like, we'll give you this fucking Rolex as well. Like, yeah. And the fucking Spotify people apparently didn't know what to do with somebody who didn't want to take the money that they were offering. Because when you coming in from the position that most of the time white people are coming from, like, you feel like, okay, I got all the money, these niggas gonna bite at whatever I throw at them. And it's like, when a nigga be like, nah, that's not what's up, it kind of throw them off. And like, you scrambling to get your bearings because that was your only move. That was the only thing that you thought was like, all I gotta do is just put enough money on the table and I can get whatever I want. And I feel like there's a sense of pride that I know I have specifically, where it's like, I get a kick out of being able to tell niggas, no, they can't afford the shit that they want to get. Like, I like that shit. Like, I remember going to a book signing one time, and this nigga was like, his name Kiese Lehman. I'm gonna have to put y'all onto his books because they fucking amazing. Yeah. But anyways, he was saying that this book deal company came to him and they was like, oh, we're gonna offer you all this money, da 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 da. I forgot what the number was. And then before he told us that he turned it down, he was like, but you know I'm a nigga. So like, I'm proud of what I turned down. So I gotta let y'all know how much it was so I can tell you how much I turned down. You know, that's how black folks are. And I was like, exactly, bro. Like, you want to be able to say, like, these niggas came at me with this much money. And I still told them niggas, no. on some masterpiece shit. Like they told me I was worth this much. I must be worth this much. If these niggas trying to give me this much, it must be way more to make out of this situation than what they actually trying to, because they trying to make a profit. So they trying to come in low so that they can make a profit. Right. And I'm like, bitch, I'm trying to make the profit. I ain't trying to sell this shit off. I want this. Like I ain't built this up to sell it off to you so that I can just get the cash. Because yes, the capital is valuable. I can go do something else. But what if this is the thing that I was trying to do in the first place? What if I'm not just trying to jumpstart, like use this as a leaping pad or what is it, stepping stone to something else? Like what if this was my destination and I actually like it here? And you trying to come in and just buy it thinking that I don't care about this and that I'll just sell it off for whatever because I can take the money and go do something else. It's like, nigga, Joe already rich. Right. what the fuck he want some more money for? Like he already rich. Yeah. What the hell you go? What can you do to change my life? Qualitative, like perspective, not just quantitative. Like what can you do to change my life? Like yes, I can go buy another fucking Rolex. I can go buy another house. I can go buy another car. But fucking why? If I already got all this shit, what I need all this shit for? Absolutely. Other than to be like, I got it. After a while, it's gonna get dull, and I'm not gonna want this shit no more. And I'm gonna be like Young Dolph talking about I'm gonna give away a Lamborghini or some shit. Because that nigga said I was just looking at the Lamborghini, and I was like, damn, I need to get this whole away. I don't never even drive it. Like, no, hell no. We is not negotiating from no terrible ass positions, bro. That shit is old. We ain't doing that no more. Like, especially not this time. I think niggas like Kanye got to go through that shit way back when they went through it, and I hate that he's still going through what he's going through with his contract and stuff, but like, I think it's my responsibility, and I think it's any creator's responsibility at this point to learn from those mistakes in the past to not do that shit again, bro. Especially when you got access to having your own audience and already having your shit rocking the way that you want it. You don't have to settle for nothing that these niggas tell you. And you bringing up the idea of him talking to academics and him talking to Santana, and them saying, "No, I don't want to do it." I can see why you don't want to do it because it's a lot of fucking work. Like you don't want to do all the extra work, and then on top of that, like you want the clout. Them niggas young. Like Santana is like 25, academics like 20 something. Like they young, so they want to be popular and famous and shit. And like he ain't thinking that way. Because one, he not that kind of a palatable ass nigga. Like everybody don't like dope. So he ain't popular ass shit. That nigga trying to get paid. Yeah. So and, it's a different story.
Absolutely. And I think also there's a pride and ownership. Because also, you know, kind of going through everything I've listened and listened to him, and then also listening to Charlamagne and kind of seeing it go back and forth. What I've gotten from Joe is that we're in a new day and time right now where we just tired of like selling off our stuff. We're tired of, you know, I'll be honest, he did say, you know what I'm saying, to white folks, tired of giving it to them for, you know what I'm saying, half the price just to get a profit. I think at this point in time, there's a shift where we want ownership, period. Yeah. This is ours. Yeah. This is mine. You gonna pay for it if you want it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's no more, hey, I need some money. You get, you know, you gonna get this half price. It's now, you gonna pay. And I don't have to sell it to you. Which is an amazing time. Also, it's time for people who have money that are like, hey, yes, I want to buy what you have, but you're selling me a bunch of bullshit. You know, I ain't got to pay for it, and walk away. And it's crazy because it does throw it does freak them out. It does throw a wrench in their stuff because they just were so sure that, oh, he was going to take it. Like, they're going to take it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then it ends up being, what? He walked away from the deal? And now it's like, hold on. Okay, we'll do this. We'll do that. And then it's like, nah, it's too late. Let's go on to something else. Right. And I'm beginning to see that. And even with me, I'm beginning to do that as well. Like, and I've always kind of been that way. Like, I don't have to take everything from everybody, or I don't have to give you whatever it is. Man. But it's beginning to be that way, and I'm loving this time. And, you know what I'm saying, one last thing is what Joe kind of brought up about Charlemagne was that Charlemagne was saying something for us, him not taking a new deal or whatever. But then, you know, Charlemagne, shout out to Charlemagne, he just got I think they announced that he is partnering with iHeart for the, what's it called? I can't remember, the Black Podcast Network. And basically he's going to be bringing, you know what I'm saying, they want to bring a voice to a lot of, you know what I'm saying, African-American Black podcasts and give them a voice, which is awesome. So congratulations to him and that. But what Joe brought up was so important that, and the reason why he brought it up, because he said that Charlemagne said, don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. So it ends up being that he was like, well, if you're going to do that, then I'm going to shoot back, you know? And basically what he was saying was, if you read it, he was like, okay, for Joe, it didn't make sense. What he said was, it said that, you know, he was going to be partnering with iHeart to bring his new Black Podcast Network, and which is anchored by The Breakfast Club. So the thing was, if you look at it, Charlemagne is an employee of iHeart, works for The Breakfast Club. They're going to repurpose their radio show for a podcast. So they're basically going to be replaying the audio for a podcast. But you partner with them to bring it. So if you look at it, it's a big circle. And when you break it down, Charlemagne doesn't own anything.
Which is some fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I really think people are getting tired of, like, Black people are getting tired of because, okay, think about like the legendary line from Jay-Z where it's like, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Like, yeah. I think, honestly, people are getting tired of having to be the resource. Like, I am the resource. Mm-hmm. Like, because what happens is when I die, my family can't eat no more because I'm gone. If I didn't own the shit that I produced while I was here, y'all don't have it. Y'all don't have anything to fucking, y'all don't have no land to till no more. Like, y'all don't have nothing. It's all of the well is dry because I died. Mm-hmm. But if I own this shit and I build some kind of a network, like on some Tommy shit, like if you build 3amp to be 3amp itself, not to be Tommy, then 3amp survives. You can pass that down. Somebody else can eat off of 3amp the same way. They can sell that if they want. Your children, Lily can sell that if she wants, or she can keep it. She has the opportunity to do things with it and make financial decisions based off of something that you built for her, not necessarily having to try to eat off of your legacy. The way that we see people's estates after they die, you see like Prince's estate, Michael Jackson's estate, and these people trying to eat off of stuff that they did when they were alive and trying to hope that they have some claim to ownership of what their family member did. But it's like, the problem was this nigga was the actual fucking resource. And when he died, or when she died,
that well runs dry.
That motherfucker, that shit gone. Now nobody can't eat because it's a desert now. Like, y'all done ran that motherfucker dry.
Yeah.
And you can't do that, man. Like, you cannot put yourself into a position where if I stop working, this shit is over with. Like, if something happens to me, this shit over with. Right.
It
has to continue past that.
I think what you're saying, you're hitting the head right there. Just because we as Black people have the access to know how to do it now. Whereas and I'm gonna go back to the record label, because this idea of podcasts, content creators, and actually quote unquote going to a record company, i.e. Spotify. Spotify is not an actual record company, but in this example, it's basically the record company. Back in the day, that was the way of the life. You know, you get a record deal, you didn't care what the contract said, you got a record deal. Now, back in the day, having a record deal, the company, the big machine behind you could push out a lot of more stuff. Today, literally, bruh, we're recording in 3 different areas.
We have the resources. We have the supplies and tools to do it ourselves.
We have the access, the resources, everything we need to build what it is. Now as much work as we've put into it, you know, we're building this thing now. So because this whole content creators, I'm gonna get them to be exclusively on my thing, or I'm doing this for Spotify, or I'm doing this for whatever. It's such a new thing that the only examples of it that they recently had was the record labels. Now we're seeing that how the record labels were so messed up, and how they're just giving out deals to people that's just wanting something. You know, just to say they had a deal, or they see you dangle like the State Farm commercial, you dangle that dollar in front of them, you like almost had it. I mean, like business moves, that's a great business plan. I can give you $300 for an asset that you're building, that you're doing all the work for. I give you $300 for it. I'm gonna make $3 billion or $3 million off of it. You know what I'm saying? That shit, I'll take that all day. You'll be a fool not to do that. But as the artists, as the content creators, as the people behind the magic, we have to look at those situations. That's one thing. That's why I was like, I appreciate Joe Budden putting this out there, because we're embarking on a new age of basically a new stream of revenue for content creators, and him putting out his digressions, because for a small creator versus him, or a big time creator, you're seeing the struggles that he's gonna go through. So let me pay attention to what he's going through, because they're gonna go after me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a small content creator, they're gonna go after me and try to get me for whatever. You know? So access resources are available to people, and that's why we see this influx, this change, and this conversation is relevant. You know, so
and that's a great point that we actually brought that up, because Joe actually talks about that in the clip, saying that, you know, there's a couple things that we just discussed and went over. So I'm gonna hit a couple different points real quick to wrap this all up. But he basically brought up, and we just kind of discussed it, that, hey, why would I bring more folks to Spotify, if more black folks to Spotify, if you're not treating this one right?
Right.
You know? And that's a strong, and that's really strong, because like you said, you know, those deals, I think what's happening is they didn't expect for the creator to get smart. Because most times we all know that the creator uses one side of the brain, the smart uses the other side. But what happens when we start using both and wake up? And for for us black folks, we're really waking up, because we're like, hold up, that deal sounds trash. And most times it's because the people that came before us, we saw the mistakes they made, just like, you know what I'm saying, any record label contract before certain situations. So for Joe, he brought up that, you know, right now, and this is what he said, you know, pretty much kind of saying, not just a Charlemagne, but a lot of folks right now, why would you down me as a black brother if I'm potentially having this chance to change the game? Because if he takes the contract, everything stays the same. It's kind of like you're witnessing history in real time. And it's so interesting, because if and the thing about it is, he brought up some other stuff that really that I love, because some people don't see that. Most time the person that is causing change, they call crazy, because the people don't want it to change. You know what I'm saying? So for him, when he brought up all those points, like, man, like, you know, when this person was trying to change the game, they called him crazy. When this person was trying to change the game, they called him crazy. Now, Joe's at this point, and Joe has had his issues in the past, but it's like, he's actually bringing up a good point, because if he takes this deal, whatever it was, and then starts bringing people in, then nothing changes. They just create a machine. They're going to take this deal because Joe will be the face of that deal. So right now, it's a beautiful time for not just creators, but for everyone. But it's a great time for, you know what I'm saying, us as black individuals, because we get to see, you have so many people fighting because we can potentially change something because we're waking up. And then we talk about all creators, not just, you know what I'm saying, black creators. You know what I'm saying? This could help all of them, because I mean, Roy is a white guy on the show. But to bring that, bring that in perspective, this can potentially change everything, not just for them and their pockets, but for us too, because we're a podcast as well. Right. That's kind of in that realm. And if he can change if he can change that and how the way we take deals, it'll be just like, like when you're going to buy a house and you do the inspection and figure out there's a lot of stuff wrong with it, and you're like, I want to walk away. Most times people think, well, he done put some money in, he done paid for the inspection, because most time that's inspections cost. Right. But when someone's like, nope, I'm good, I go find another one, it throws them off, because they're like, whoa, we thought we had, we thought we had this fish on the hook. Right. Especially if negotiations break down. Yeah. So in this sense, I related to that, as well as, contracts like the 360 deal. I'm sure they thought that 360 deal, everybody's just going to take it. And then somebody smart enough and was like, yo, they want to take from my touring and my merch, but that's where I get most of my money from. And folks was like, no. So going to this point in podcasting, I think Joe also blew it up that, hey, Apple only pays us so much. I think he blew that up too. But going and looking at that, like, you kind of seeing history being created, because, you're seeing history before your eyes. Because if he can pull this off and do something without them, then it's like, oh man, now they got to go back to the drawing board. And it's like, what you gonna do? Yeah. Not only that, and that's for all of us, because then we all smarten up and then we all move forward. So, man, I say that, man, to say this, man, don't call everybody crazy. So people know what they're doing. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it can potentially change your life. And then, one more thing for Charlamagne, one thing that Joe brought up, he was like, after hearing all that, it was one thing that he did not see in that press release was that Brilliant Idiots, it didn't sound like Brilliant Idiots will be featured on that whole network. So it's very interesting to see how the cards play out. And I really want to see how it ends. Do we end up, and I'm going to say, do we end up like Kevin Hart? And y'all probably going to be like, how'd you bring Kevin Hart? But Kevin Hart has his Laugh Out Loud network. Do we end up like Kevin Hart? Or do we end up like, everyone else with a Netflix special? I guess we'll wait and see.
I guess so. I guess we wait and see. That's a hell of a way to end the show. Appreciate that, Steve.
Hey, there you go.
Steve is a killer, man.
Hey, I'm trying to,
I feel you, bro.
I'm trying to get these funds, man.
Right. Well,
plus I enjoy doing this.
I can't say anymore, man. I really appreciate the conversation, dog, because it actually got me thinking about some stuff. So, me, man, I'm always working. So, guys, thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Speaker Geekers podcast. If you haven't already, please go subscribe on the YouTube page. Like I said last week, we changed the name of the page to 3M Media Studios. So we're going to focus, we featuring Speaker Geekers podcast on the page, as well as our other podcasts too. So go subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Go follow Speaker Geekers podcast on Instagram and Facebook at Speaker Geekers podcast. On both of them. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Tommy T the Third. You got Steve on Instagram at the Great Steve O Steve. And you got Greg on Instagram at instantly_G. So go follow us. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Like I said, let us know what you think, how you feel about Joe Budden's situation, how you feel about content creators and the new wave of content creators, because we are in a new wave. We are in a new uncharted territory with contracts and stuff like that of artists, because content creators are only artists. They just have a different art that they're presenting. So I think I hit everything. Did I miss anything? You guys got anything?
Hey man, I got one thing to say.
What you got?
I won the Fan of Mulatto. Ain't that a name? That's a name, right?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
That verse she just laid, on that YFN Lucci record.
Yes, sir.
Wet, which I like that record anyway. I love that. Wet, give me some. Hey, I love that record. But hey, look here. Just go to Instagram. Look at her perform it. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's it.
I think I kind of rock with it a little bit now.
Okay.
Just as long as she ain't trying to shoot me. That's it. I want to hear you come in the house about you just shot a female. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. I like this other side here. I'm just gonna say she lifted her leg up and went about over her head. But hey, let's get out of here.
Oh man, you're right, man. G, you good, man?
I'm good, man. I ain't got nothing, man.
All right, man. Well, I'm out, man. Peace.
Peace
Peace out.